A big cheese is an important person. For example, Jake is a big cheese in the video gaming industry. Big boys, they are the major players in a market. For example, the company are the big boys in academic publishing. Between a rock and a hard place is to be in a difficult position with no obvious solutions. For example, we're between a rock and a hard place. If we stay in the market, we risk making a loss, but if we leave, we'll lose our investment. Belt-tightening is reducing expenses. For example, the company's going through a period of belt-tightening, which means we have less to spend on marketing. Behind the scenes, something happening in secret while other things are visible. For example, behind the scenes, both the unions and the management are trying to find a compromise. To do behind closed doors is to do in secret, not in public. For example, the deal was done behind closed doors. The beer money is a small extra income for going out, etc. For example, he earns a little beer money from his weekend stall. To beat around the bush is not to get to the point. For example, don't beat around the bush. How much have we lost? Exactly. To bear the brunt is to have to face the worst part of something. For example, consumers will bear the brunt of the increase in sales tax. To bear fruit is to lead to the result you expected. For example, we're hoping that our efforts will bear fruit. A bean counter is an accountant. For example, if you need to know the exact figures, go and ask the bean counters. To be or to come under fire is to be attacked or criticized. For example, the sales manager has come under fire for his average performance. To be on to a winner is to do something which will probably be successful. For example, you're onto a winner with that website. To be on fighting form is to be in good economic shape. For example, after the merger, the new company was on fighting form. To be loaded is to be very rich. For example, ask Daniel for a loan. He's loaded.
A barometer is an instrument measuring atmospheric pressure, also an indicator. For example, the inflation rate is a useful barometer of a government's economic policies.
A ballpark figure or estimate is an approximate amount. For example, can you give me a ballpark figure for the amount of tax we'll have to pay this year?
A bailout is an act of giving financial assistance to a failing business or economy to save it from collapse. For example, will Spain be the next Eurozone country to require a bailout? To backtrack or backpedal is to change your opinion or decision on something. For example, the government is backtracking on its proposals to increase inheritance tax.
To get bang for your buck is to get value for money. For example, I'm concerned we aren't getting much bang for our buck with these investments.
Backroom boys are people whose work is important but who don't get much recognition. The backroom boys in this department are essential to our innovation strategy.
Backlash is a negative consequence or reaction after an action or event. For example, if we make further losses, we risk a backlash from our investors.
Back down is to give in or to accept you've lost the argument. Local authorities backed down on their threats to build on that part. To agree with is to have the same opinion as someone else. For example, I agree with you. I think you should go as well.